Now, live on WBZ TV and streaming on CBS News Boston. This is WBZ News.
And right now at 5 o'clock, we're following breaking news. A massive fire tearing through two homes in Lynn.
Firefighters have been working to knock down this blaze for several hours. WBZ's Christina Hager joins us live from the scene. Hi, Christina.
Hi there. Well, the fire chief here is calling this a stubborn one. Firefighters down this street have been attacking two burning homes from all angles for hours. The plume of thick black smoke could be seen from far away, but up close, you can see the flames are still shooting in spots. The chief says it's because of the construction in these older homes with a lot of space in the walls for fire to travel up quickly. 10 people who lived in the two homes got out uninjured. One of them told me he has 3 cats he's, of course, worried about. And here's what the chief had to say.
So on arrival, they found there was 2 vehicles and 2 houses on fire. There was downed electrical lines on the street. That became a problem. They were able to make entry into the building. Everyone had gotten out.
And I just seen like the black smoke, the black cloud and everything.
These homes are all pretty close together.
They're very old. You know, the homes are old and they catch on fire quickly, and it's a shame. It's a shame. I feel for the families.
I didn't live here. Family members live here, but it was like the it family house for some time. Sad, but there's no words that you can put to it. It's just sad.
So at this point, the firefighters are not able to be inside the homes. It's too dangerous because it has spread to the roof. And the goal now is to keep this from spreading. These homes are close together, 2 homes on fire. Firefighters working to keep the flames out of a third that has been evacuated. The fire chief noted that there were downed power lines on top of burning cars. That caught his attention, but he said it's too early to tell what caused this. Live in Lynn, Christina Hager, WBZ News.
Christina, thank you. Now to your next weather. Joining Eric Fisher now, and not 1 round of rain, not 2 rounds of rain, but
3
rounds
not 7.
of rain. Not
3.
7. That's good.
Yeah, we've got the showers tonight. We've got some steadier rain tomorrow. We've got some thunderstorms tomorrow night. So let's start with what we got right now. Out there, some light rain showers pushing their way on through. Not all of it even reaching the ground because the air is still somewhat dry. Of course, it was so dry yesterday into this morning. So we're getting some light raindrops now, especially west of the 495 area. We've broadened out a little bit. You've got some more scattered showers off to the west, some snow showers up across northern New England, and a much larger storm system that's across the middle of the nation. This will produce all sorts of severe weather as we make our way into the overnight. But we're not dealing with the severe here this evening. We've got the scattered rain showers, and this first pulse will move through by about midnight tonight. And then a break, some fog outside. Tomorrow morning, the next round arrives around 7 to 8 a.m. It looks like a very wet first half of the day. Scattered showers, couple of downpours. This should end between about 1 and 2 o'clock, and that's the time you want to get outside. We get into the middle afternoon, the early evening, we'll get some sunshine, we'll get much warmer temperatures. This will feel like a completely different day. The one spot that may not clear out, the South Coast and Cape Cod. And then as we get into the evening, around 8 to 9 o'clock, there'll be a chance for some thunderstorms to push on through. Might even be seeing some damaging wind gusts or some small hail with those storms as they move on by. Rain totals about a ½ inch to an inch when all is said and done by Sunday morning. So it's a bit of a complicated forecast. We'll have the whole weekend look coming up. Tiffany?
All right, thank you, Eric. We're following breaking news from Little Rock, Arkansas. The city was hit by what local meteorologists are describing as a catastrophic tornado. You can clearly see the twister from this video. A local hospital has declared this a mass casualty event, and emergency officials just told the CBS station in Little Rock there are at least 600 injuries so far. We are working to learn more about potential damage and injuries. Stay with WBZ News for the latest.
Also tonight, we now know the dates and we know the time. 2:15 p.m. on Tuesday. That's when CBS News sources say that former President Trump will be arraigned in a Manhattan courtroom. We know Trump will fly to New York City on Monday and then spend the night in Trump Tower before his arraignment. We're also told that the former president is not expected to be handcuffed.
Now, security is being beefed up outside the courthouse. Law enforcement officials say the Secret Service is working with officials from the NYPD, the court, and the DA's office to nail down logistics. 6. Trump is facing charges surrounding an apparent cover-up of hush money payments to an adult film star.
That's right. We don't know the exact charges as of yet. WBZ's Chris Tanaka joins us live in studio now. And Chris, obviously we'll learn a lot more during that arraignment.
Absolutely, David. Yeah, the indictment is expected to be unsealed on Tuesday, and that's when we will know exactly what charges the former president is facing.
CBS News has learned former President Donald Trump will travel to New York on Monday to surrender himself before his court appearance the following day. Secret Service agents will escort Trump to his arraignment, where the grand jury's historic indictment will be formally unsealed and the former president will be asked to enter a plea. The case centers around payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels before the 2016 presidential election.
We don't know what's in the indictment, so we could be looking at campaign finance charges. We could be looking at wire fraud, at banking fraud.
The NYPD, FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, and U.S. Secret Service are among the agencies coordinating security ahead of Trump's appearance next week.
I mean, he's upset, angry. He is being persecuted politically. That is clear to many people, not only on the right, but on the left.
Trump is expected to be fingerprinted and photographed for a mugshot, but not placed in handcuffs. Many Republicans, including his former Vice President Mike Pence, are coming to Trump's defense.
The unprecedented indictment of a former president of the United States for a campaign finance issue is an outrage.
Friday, supporters gathered near Trump's Florida estate.
This is going to put him in the office right now. So let him arrest him. He's going to win.
After the arraignment, Trump is expected to leave back to Florida aboard his private jet.
All right, a U.S. law enforcement official tells CBS News that Trump won't be handcuffed because he's not a threat to run, harm, or break free of control, and of course will be surrounded by several agents. Tiffany.
Now, reaction to the former president's indictment came fast and furious, so it's no surprise Americans are split on the move. WBZ's Beth Germano is live in Boston, where some people gathered today to support Trump's indictment. Hi, Beth.
Well, this was billed as a no one is above the law rally. Protesters here at the State House today say, of course, Donald Trump is innocent until proven guilty. But if he was engaged in an alleged hush money scheme, then even a former president needs to be held accountable.
This is a sad day for America.
It was a small but vocal group of protesters on the State House steps with this message.
This is not about hush payments. This is about the fact that there was an abuse of power. Somebody tried to commit financial frauds on our nation.
The group that says it's calling for transparency in government says former President Donald Trump deserves his day in court, but believes that after a lengthy investigation, the indictment is the right way to go.
Well, I think it shows that money can get you out of anything, right? And we don't want that to be the case. We don't want people to get away just because they can afford to pay somebody off.
The allegation here is that Trump paid off adult film star Stormy Daniels to silence her just before the presidential election about an alleged affair. The chair of the Massachusetts GOP believes the indictment is an overreach by an overzealous prosecutor.
I do think it's an overreach, and I think it's an attempt by a prosecutor to try to influence a presidential election. And in America, you know, that's just wrong.
But the question now, what does it mean for Donald Trump's presidential campaign? Stephen Goyette added his voice as a counter-protest at the State House.
How do you think this will impact his presidential campaign, if it does?
Actually, I think it'll invigorate it. It's been a political witch hunt since before Donald Trump was inaugurated.
The head of the Mass GOP believes it gives Trump a public forum to his advantage.
I frankly think this is going to be another example of how he uses the media from this indictment to help him in his primary campaign.
But she says she is concerned the indictment could further divide an already divided country. The president will have his day in court on Tuesday. At the State House, I'm Beth Germano, WBZ News.
Now stay with WBZ and CBS News for the latest on the Trump indictment. Don't forget to download the free WBZ News app and turn on push notifications so you don't miss any important updates. Now, a body was found in a wooded area along 95 in Weston this morning. Massachusetts State Police tell us the area may have been the previous site of a homeless encampment. An investigation is underway into how that person died. They have not been identified. Investigators believe they know what caused this week's deadly fire in New Bedford. The state fire marshal says investigators determined the fire started in a second-floor room. They believe it started with a microwave in that room or the electrical outlet which was powering that microwave. 2 people died in the fire, 59-year-old Manuel Moriera and 63-year-old Wayne Burden. Both lived in the building. 5 people were hospitalized. The fire destroyed the rooming house on Acushnet Avenue. The city is now setting up a relief fund to help those residents.
Well, a woman is alive tonight thanks to a rush hour rescue on Route 3 near the Massachusetts-New Hampshire state line. A group of Good Samaritans jumping into action to save her from a burning car. WBZ's Paul Burton spoke with one of them.
We all just did what we had to do, and the car was completely engulfed. She had to get out of that vehicle.
Laura Schooley is thanking the heroic acts of unexpected strangers who came to her aid as she was trying to help a woman out of a burning car.
She had a pretty significantly broken arm. She was disoriented.
State police say the crash took place on Route 3 northbound in Nashua, New Hampshire on Thursday. They say 67-year-old Valerie Morelli of Amherst drove her car off the highway, hit an embankment and some trees, then burst into flames. Although Laura says she was first to respond to the scene, she says it was a quick thinking of a whole group of strangers who came together to help this woman in need.
Another gentleman found a wooden pallet, and we put her onto a pallet to hopefully keep her kind of stabilized. And the group of us picked her up using the pallet, and we moved her farther from the vehicle.
Others joined in quickly, one calling 911 and another tried to put the fire out with an extinguisher.
It was just amazing because a big group of people stopped to help, and just the coordination of a group of strangers, we all just came together and worked as a team.
First responders arrived moments later. As you can see, the car was completely torched. The woman was conscious and alert, and very thankful for the help she received from people who were just going about their day.
Scary experience, but I'm just so happy that the group of us were able to get her to safety. Definitely, that driver is still on my mind. Like, I'm still thinking of her and hoping that, she fully recovers.
The crash remains under investigation. In Nashua, New Hampshire, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
A handful of construction projects will make it difficult to get around Boston this weekend. Demolition on the Government Center garage will force Green Line service to be suspended between North Station and Government Center. Orange Line trains will also not run between North Station and Back Bay, and buses will replace Red Line trains between the JFK UMass Station and Braintree. Things won't be much better on the roads either. The Sumner Tunnel will be closed over the weekend for repair work, while filming will shut down parts of Sturo and Memorial Drive. There will also be closures on the paths along the Charles River.
Wow, closing down Sturo better be a good movie, right? Well, the cost of everything is on the rise, including tickets to see your favorite sports team.
Still ahead, how you can still spend a day at the ballpark without breaking the bank.
Plus, a day in the life of a digital nomad. The on-the-go lifestyle that is taking off thanks to the pandemic.
And the cost of college can be a burden for people seeking higher education. What's being done to make schooling more affordable for everyone?
And we've got a stormy start to the weekend, although there'll be a window where all of a sudden it feels like warm spring weather tomorrow. We'll take a look at the best times to get outside.
Well, from the groceries to the utility bills, really everything in between, we're all feeling the pinch of inflation.
And that means going to catch a Celtics, Bruin, or Red Sox game isn't always in the budget.
WBZ's Laura Hayfley is live at the Woo Sox opening day at Polar Park in Worcester. And Laura, that's a pretty good alternative for families.
There are so many people here at Polar Park. You can see the concourse behind me, absolutely packed. The field is full of players excited to be here. Everyone hanging out, watching their favorite minor league team at an affordable price, something experts say pro sports teams in Boston can't always promise. Boston sports fans flocked to Fenway for opening day Thursday.
This is our family. This is our tribe.
Longtime Red Sox fan Jim Tremble went to games with his dad in the 60s. Now he's back with his own son.
My favorite memory is walking up
the same tunnel.
First time I came here with my dad, we walked up the same tunnel he walked up with his.
But the game has changed, and so have the prices.
It's a great place, a little hefty.
Life in general is a little expensive nowadays.
But how expensive are professional sports in Boston? We asked Boston College economics professor Bob Murphy.
Ticket prices today are, significantly higher than they were 20, 30 years ago, and have outpaced the overall rate of inflation by a good margin.
Professor Murphy blames the increased interest in winning teams.
In that environment, I think these teams have been able to raise prices.
Is there a lack of accessibility to these professional sports games for the average Bostonian family?
You could argue become an event, a venue, that only wealthier people can really attend, and so it changes the character of the population that are able to attend games and be there in person.
There are less expensive options if you travel outside city limits.
Yes, we have tickets starting at just $8.
Brooke Cooper is the assistant general manager for the Woo Sox, promising fans an affordable experience.
We have some new seating, heating, and eating options. The support that we get from fans in the community is the best part about being here in Worcester.
Fans here having a lot of fun at Polar Park. Coming up at 6, we'll hear more on what the Woo Sox organization has to offer their dedicated fan base at Polar Park. Laura Hafley, WBZ News.
Thank you, Laura. Now, it was a cold opening day yesterday. Now it's drizzling. Not an ideal day for some baseball.
It's not. And Eric, it sounds like tomorrow's going to be really iffy for the Red Sox game at Fenway.
Yeah, I think they'll play in the window. It's a question of how wet it gets during the first half of the day, and do they have time to get the field playable there as we look at that 4 o'clock first pitch. So as we look at the weekend, here's kind of the rundown. We've got some showery weather to start Saturday, and then we're talking about a windy, cooler Sunday. We've got a few showers next week, and maybe a quick push of warmth that could get us to 70 degrees as we head into next week. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But out there tonight, it's cool, it's damp. Not all this is reaching the ground just yet, but some light rain showers are making their way on in. So it's going to be increasingly wet outside if you're heading out and about. This first round of showers will be with us until about midnight tonight, and then we'll see a steadier band of rain arrive here tomorrow morning. There's a pretty potent storm right across the middle of the country. This would be a big severe weather maker, already has been. In fact, the first high risk day from the Storm Prediction Center in 2 years, and a couple areas that they're watching. It's that bright pink here around, say, eastern Iowa, and also down toward Arkansas and into northern Mississippi, western parts of Tennessee. That's where we could see some long track tornadoes tonight. Tornado watches extend from Chicago all the way down into Texas. So we'll be watching that as it approaches. For us, we've got the showers to start, some areas of fog tonight, low temperatures mostly in the mid-30s to lower 40s outside. It'll be coldest to the north and mildest to the south. As we look toward the start of the day tomorrow, it'll likely be chilly in most spots as we kick off the day. 30s to around 40 from areas north of the Mass Pike, warmer if you're in southeastern Massachusetts. But a good morning to sleep in. We'll have some areas of steady rainfall pushing through, and it should stay damp till about 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, if you want to get outside tomorrow, 2 o'clock onward, we'll get some sunshine breaking out. Temperatures will jump above 60 degrees in many spots, where we'll stay a little bit more socked in toward the south coast and the Cape, unfortunately, for the folks there. And then we get into the evening, and this is where a round of downpours and thunderstorms will be possible from about 8 o'clock onward, first arriving in central Massachusetts and then moving toward the coastline. And we don't completely dry out until we wake up on Sunday morning. Rain totals, we're looking at about a ½ inch to an inch across the area, so it's a pretty good drink of water when all is said and done here. High temperatures, again, it's that afternoon to early evening. I mean, fire up the grill and head outside. We're looking at mostly 60s from Boston north and west, and we'll stay in the 50s where clouds will hang on more tough near the south coast and Cape Cod, as well as Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. There is a chance a couple of these storms could produce severe weather tomorrow, especially in areas in yellow. If I were drawing this, I think I'd focus more from Worcester westward, particularly toward the Connecticut River Valley. I'd love a chance of hitting 70 degrees, more instability to work with. Main risk with those storms tomorrow evening would be strong wind gusts and some hail in anything that does develop. For the Red Sox, they're in that window, that 4 o'clock first pitch, where it should be dry, so we'll see if they can get the field playable. And then on Sunday, it looks gusty and colder with highs in the 40s. Tomorrow's wind will be out of the southwest and pretty breezy. especially in the afternoon as things warm up. And then as we get into Sunday, that wind will turn more northwesterly and bring in some of that chill. And a chilly start to Monday morning, but a nice rebound in the afternoon in the upper 50s. On Tuesday, we'll see a slight risk of a shower. It looks cooler on Wednesday, and then that push of more warmth on Thursday. That could be the mildest day of the year so far.
Thank you, Eric.
All right, thanks, Eric.
Non-traditional workplaces are all the rage, especially after the pandemic.
That's right. Still ahead, the European nation that has become a hot spot for so-called digital nomads.
The boom in remote working since the pandemic. Your office can really be anywhere, not for us, but for most people. All you really need is a laptop and decent Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, this is our spot right here. People taking advantage, or sometimes called digital nomads. CBS's Rami Inocencio traveled to Lisbon, Portugal to check out a day in the life of a non-traditional worker.
Portugal is known for its beautiful beaches, delicious delights, and centuries-old architecture. But it also has fast, modern Wi-Fi, a low cost of living, and easy access to the rest of Europe. That's made it a top hotspot for digital nomads like Kendall Lobo. She was working from home for a San Diego-based financial technology firm, then realized
I can do the exact same job from a completely different country.
Kendall works U.S. West Coast hours. That's 3:30 to 11 p.m. here in Lisbon.
I have the morning and the whole day to explore, do whatever. And if I'm traveling, then I'll take like a morning flight so that by 3 p.m. I can be working.
On the other side of the world, in Bangkok, Thailand, David Tan has lived a digital nomad life for the past 3 years. His lifestyle has taken him around the world, living in 15 countries on 5 continents. He's a former software engineer who now freelances, and he's seen the nomad community come into the mainstream over the years.
It's never been easier to be a nomad just because there's so many services catered to nomads.
Those services include co-working spaces, which provide digital nomads places to mingle with unique, creative, or inspiring offerings. Like Kendall, David says his rent is much cheaper abroad.
So my rent right now is about under $500.
Back in San Francisco, for the same amount of space, how much do you think you'd be paying?
Easily $3,000, $4,000.
On a U.S. salary, that might sound like a steal, but for locals, they can and often are priced out. Portuguese labor historian Raquel Varela says she's not opposed to people moving to her country.
You want to know other countries, you want to know other people. This is incredibly positive.
But the social activist does take issue with the housing inequality created by foreigners with U.S. dollars and more buying power.
Everything enters in the huge game of competition, and you smash the majority of the population.
Rami Inocencio, CBS News, Lisbon.
Next at 5:30, it's decision week for soon-to-be college freshmen. After making a choice, the conversation turns to cost. What's being done to ease the financial burden of education?
Plus, the first victim of the Nashville school shooting is laid to rest. How family and friends are remembering 9-year-old Evelyn Dickhouse.
And a 5-year-old Westport girl goes on a shopping spree with her mom's phone.